All right. So this video addresses some things that I mentioned in a previous video with regards to this company, zZounds. So zZounds, and quite like another company, let me show you this other company. American Musical. There we go. Do very similar things in that they both get items from a warehouse and they allow you to do payment plans with generally 0% interest. Now you can dive into it deeper if you want to know. And I've ordered from both of these companies in the past. And I still order from AMS, still use AmericanMusical.com. And one of the things that both of these companies don't like, but yet they offer is a return policy. Now I'm speaking of that because I've been known to return quite a few things. Well, I get a email from this company, zZounds, telling me they don't want to sell to me because I've returned things in the past. Okay. So my question to them was, well, how would I know if I like the item if I never try it? My other question to them is, why do you offer a return policy if you don't want me to have the option to return it? My other question to them, the third one I have for them is, why would you purposefully seclude or like banish somebody from ordering an item when you charge a fee that you don't return unless the item is damaged or defective? If a person says, I don't like this item, they charge you a portion of the money to return it plus the return cost to return the item. In other words, if you're shipping it back, they're going to charge you for a label if you choose the label. And if you don't choose the label, then on your own, you're still paying for the cost to get it shipped back. So I say that to say that this company is not a bad company just because we have our problems, but they will ship out items to people to use, and on their YouTube videos encourage you to buy from their links. So they ship those items out knowing that the person is going to return it, but use it on their live show. And they're basically getting it either at a lower cost or they're getting it as a loaner. So tell me why that's okay. But if I choose to buy from them and try it as a customer, that it's not okay. And they say we're number one in customer service. Okay. That's fine. You're number one if that's what it is. But the reality is my experience with them is different. Now, I've dealt with AMS and had no issues at all. Mind you, they all get the products from the same warehouses. So, and I've returned to AMS before. They've given me no beef with regards to that. I don't buy items purposely to return, but I do buy items to try them. I will say that. So when I purchase something through here, whether it's a guitar or anything that I don't have access to in a store, then I am buying it to try it. And within the allotted time that you put into your policies, I feel like I deserve to be able to take advantage of a return. Money back guaranteed. That is true. They do give you your money back. The question is, why do you give grief to products being returned? Now, here's the exceptions on their return policy. Obviously, you need to send this stuff back the way you got it. Can't be damaging stuff. And certain things they're not going to be able to return. That makes sense. It's copyrighted materials, especially software. I've never returned software from buying from one of these companies ever. Gift certificates, that's blatantly obvious. You're not going to return. There is a 15% restocking fee. And this is what I'm talking about. If you buy, they're still charging you and getting paid money when you return an item. So this right here, those found to have excessive time or usage consistent with heavy product recording will be charged. So even if you're returning it, they have the right, because they tell you in here in advance that they can charge it. And I agree with it. They should charge a restock fee because you're returning a lot. So if you're buying and trying, you're going to return. That's just part of it, right? So my thing is, here's another note. A quick note to guys and gals who return items time and time again. Please keep in mind, under certain conditions, some customers may only be able to return for exchange. Let's keep it real so we can continue offering the best return policy around. That's fine too. A lot of times when I return, I'm looking to get something else. So an exchange is perfectly fine. I think this is AMS. I haven't looked at zZounds in a while, but I'm with them. Charge the 15%. That's perfectly fine. I won't complain about a restock fee. See, I think a restock fee is legit. They should be able to do that because they're offering you a service that is, one, you're getting 45 days to return it. And two, you're taking this home and putting it in your environment, which they don't know what it's like when they ship it to you. So it's fair that they get something when they get a product back that they may have to sell at a lower rate. Totally makes sense. Let's look at zZounds and see what they offer. This isn't about zZounds. This is about these companies and how they work. It's good to educate yourself. Because if you don't and you just start buying into these companies just because they offer it, you could find yourself, frustrated with everything. Okay. Same principle, 45-day return policy. Of course, you got to get a return authorization. What are the exemptions to zZounds return policy? Very similar copyrighted stuff. You can't do it, right? That's software. Can't do that. Personal use items with your mouth. I hope you don't return those. Anything going into your ear or your mouth, nah, you got to keep that. That's on you. Sell it on your own if you have to. And that's good for sanitary purposes. With it. Clothing once open, yeah, you can't return clothing. You put that on your body, touch your skin. That's kind of nasty anyway. Nobody will want that back. Gift certificates, no doubt. There are some companies like, see here, Avid products like Pro Tools and stuff like that. You can't return that. Native Instruments products cannot be returned once you break the seal. So keep that in mind. If you buy anything from Pro Tools software or these Native Instrument products, there's no return on it. So buy with caution. I think these are good to go over because it's not that you should build any hatred toward any of these companies, but you need to know what you're getting yourself into. Our return policy is very generous, but these exceptions are necessary. Please consider them in making your purchase. And they'll tell you on the phone, I'll give them credit for that if you buy something that you put your mouth on it, you can't return it. And I'm glad they say that because I don't want to buy that after you put your mouth on there. Nor should you want to buy something after I've done that. Okay, so here we go. So as musicians, we understand that that having a reliable return policy is integral to a good purchasing experience. However, we reserve the right to limit return privileges to those who take advantage of our policy with excessive or dubious returns. These decisions are sole discretion of the returns department. So, I get that. But why do you choose to charge a restock fee or not charge a restock fee instead of honoring both of these? So if you're going to charge a restock fee, then you should, to some degree, accept that there's going to be a measure of returns. The idea is that you don't be excessive with it, and I get that. But at the same time, if you're going to allow loaners to go out to other YouTubers to try the product because it promotes you, then when a customer calls in to order something and you refuse to allow them to get it because of previous, I'm talking about, I haven't ordered from zZounds in years. So I usually go to a Guitar Center because it's right around the corner, or I'll order from Amazon, or if I find something cheap, then obviously I'll get it off reverb.com. But my thing is, this whole determining whether something is excessive on a return is a bit wild. And whoever's in that department should think about, or is the person returning the item in a quality condition? In other words, to the point where, yes, you could say this person is not mistreating the gear. He legit just doesn't like the gear. So I'm not sure how that works. It's not my job to tell them how to run their company. This is their company. They have the right to choose it. And just like a customer has the right to not buy from them, they have the right to tell me or anyone else that they don't want to sell to me or sell to them, whoever it is. But I just think that if you're charging a restock fee, and if you notice here, where is it? Items not returned condition described here may be subject to a fees minimum 10% of the purchasing price as determined by our cost of replacing the missing item, including processing fee for labor and intensive process, or refusal of return. Larger items and items that ship directly from vendors can be subject to a minimum of 30% restocking fee. So you're charging anywhere from 10 to 30%, depending on whether it's a large or a regular item. And yet you're saying that a person cannot purchase from you if they take advantage of your return policy. You know, I used to work retail for a GameStop store, and I remember this feeling. There was a person who used to come in and get video games, and he would go home. Now he'd buy them used. Anything you bought new is yours. But if he would come in and buy them used, and there was usually like a 7-day return policy. Excuse me. So he would go home, beat the game in one night. Mind you, he'd go through the story mode for those that don't know what I mean. And he would beat the game or win the game or however you want to term that in one night and literally come back the next day, return it and get something else. And just repetitive cycles. In fact, he did it one time, at least 10 times I remember counting in a row. It would be like 10 days in a row. Go in, get it, go home. I was like, how does he have this much time to game? But I guess he did. It's not my business what his time frame of gaming was. Anyway, I felt it was a bit excessive. At some point, get a game that you're going to keep. That's what I thought. But I actually got wrote up at the company because they told me their policy allows for that. Now, that's true. Their policy did allow for it, and it was excessive, but that was their company's choice to do it. And again, it wasn't my company. I just worked for them. So my only problem is I'm okay with the fact that you can refuse to sell something, but don't promote the company as if you have the number one customer service, because not everybody feels you're number one. AMS, I've had good dealings with them. I'd say they're really good and solid with regards to stuff. Haven't had any issues with customer service for the most part. Nobody likes returns. It actually hurts both people. One, the person doesn't get what they want, and two, the company don't get what they want, which is a sold product. However, I do think that if you have a 45-day and you emphasize this, then, you have to, and we guarantee your complete satisfaction. Okay, well, if it's my complete satisfaction, then allow me to buy from you. And don't tell me we allow you to return almost any product for any reason, and I can't. Or maybe you should reach out to me as a YouTuber and say, hey, why not set me up on one of your loaner things and let me try the gear? Because I am a person that do like to try the gear. I don't say I'm going to keep the gear just because I try it, but we don't have stores that have every piece of gear. You have to order from somewhere. And I know companies even like Sweetwater don't like you to return if at all possible. They have one of the best customer services I have ever seen. I've only had one issue with them, and I'm not even going to discuss that because it really doesn't matter. It doesn't pertain to any of you guys who may be buying from them. It's just something I ran into with them. And it's so minute right now, I'm not even worried about it. I just mentioned it because we're talking about companies like this. So the Return King, I've been deemed that, just says be conscious of your return policy. Try to buy stuff you like. Try it in store if you can find it in store. And do a lot of video researching on products to the best of your ability. And then if you get an item and it's just really that bad to where it's like you just hate it, then maybe execute your return, right? But take care of gear too. Out of respect for these companies, because I don't hate them, really I don't. I have no hatred toward a company. They're trying to make money, I get it. This isn't a bash them video, but it is a make yourself aware video of you can't say I'm number one if you treat customers the way I was treated from zZounds. And again, I don't hate them. They got to run a business. They got to make decisions. It's not my place to tell them how to run it. But yeah, one day soon, I hope zZounds will reach out or try to, maybe come to some type of agreement with me where they would let me do loaner gear and I just send it back to them. I'd be glad to pay a little fee, like a restock fee, 15% of the item. And that way you could just send it back. And it would be cool if they decided that they're okay with just allowing returns, but just charge you for something for it. Again, paying some money to try it, why not? But to say that you guarantee your satisfaction, well, I haven't experienced that. AMS, I have. And I appreciate each and every one of them for making it easy to buy from them. And sometimes I'm not a big gear junkie. If you look at my channel, you'll see I have certain pieces I like, certain things. It's usually not high end ticket items that I'm getting. So, it is what it is. But I would love to join either one of these companies, particularly American Musical, because they don't get a lot of publicity on YouTube. I never see people talking about them. And yet, I've never had any, like I said, bad situations with them. But anyway, comment in the section below. Let me know your thoughts on these companies. Maybe you haven't had experience because you're a gear hoarder. Like you keep all the things you buy, in other words. Or you just don't buy at all, which is okay too if that's your thing. But let me know what you think. I know a lot of people talk about zZounds. They get gear from them. That's the reason why they're repping them. They're sending them out loaners to do videos and put, basically it's their marketing tool. But anyway, yeah, let me know. All right, that's it for this video. Enough of my rant.